Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Become a Better Man. Become a Better Man. I'd like to start by apologizing for all those who have been waiting. We had some issues with our internet connection, and that has taken so long to resolve. I'm so sorry for keeping you waiting, but we're here now, so let's get started on today's program. My name is Tunde Disu. For those who are joining us for the first time, thank you, Moyosora, for joining us. It's going to be a great day, irrespective of what happened at the beginning. Nothing is going to stop us. Thank you, Yemi, for joining. Today's program is a follow-up from what we did last week. Last week we were talking about the importance of visiting your doctor, having a relationship with your doctor, having a medical checkup, and making sure you are running fine. All your cylinders are firing, as it were. Well, this week's program is a follow-up from that one because we want to look deeper, I want to dig deeper, I want to go further into the issue of man and his health. Man and his health. And as we go into it, we will see certain things that we probably have never seen, or some things that we've taken for granted in the past, and it's going to be a great program today. I just want you to please bear with me for the lost time. I'm sure we will try and recoup it as we go along. Today's topic is man and his health. Man and his health. When we talk about health, there is a saying that the health of an individual is the health of the community. And rightly so. And as a man, the health of the man affects everybody in the house and around him. It affects him socially, it affects him even spiritually, it affects him physically. It affects his relationships, his ability to work, his ability to play his role as a man, and as a father, as a husband, as a head of his family. And that is why looking at the health of a man is a major issue. Thank you, Joby, for joining us. Fatima, thank you. The truth is, there are certain things I'll be looking at today as it relates to man, and obviously some aspect of it to the ladies as well. There are 5 areas that we're going to look at quickly today where the health of a man is concerned. And as important as these 5 elements are, unfortunately, they are the areas where a lot of men take for granted. And that is why statistics said men are paying the price for neglecting their health. And as a result, over 100,000 are dying prematurely every year because men are not taking good care of their health. Mark Hughes, thank you for joining us. I appreciate your time. Until we start doing what we're expected to do, what we are supposed to do as men, it won't just be us that will suffer. It will affect everyone and everybody around us. Our wives, our children, our ability to provide, to protect, to preserve. Everything will be affected when men neglect their personal responsibilities of looking after their health. It's important to be aware as men that your health is your wealth. Your health is your wealth. Unless you are sound in your physical body, you will not be able to do anything to help anybody. So in order for you to be a blessing to the people around you, to your family, to your society, to your church, to the world as a whole, you need to be a blessing to yourself first. The Bible talks about love your neighbor as you love yourself. If you don't love yourself enough, what chance have we got as your friends, your family, your neighbors? And that is why the issue of health, when it comes to men, it's critical, it's important. We have played with it long enough as men, and it is time for us to take this seriously, to take it with the amount of seriousness that it deserves. We're going to look at these 5 areas because they are killer areas, and if care is not taken, if they are not tackled early, there is no saying that such men will not be one of these 100,000 that die every year prematurely because of not looking after their health. The first thing we're going to look at is, and before I go into that, I just want to say today's program, please, if you don't have a thick skin, you might find it a bit uncomfortable, because on today's program, we're going to really go everywhere. We're going to touch everything. We're going to talk about everything because it is that important. Thank you, Kemi. Thank you, Ola, for joining us. Thank you, Gibson, for joining us from holiday, for that matter. Thank you. The first aspect we want to look at today is a lump. Where you have a lump on your testicle as a man, it becomes that immediately should send an alarm bell ringing in your head. Testicular cancer is the most common cancer among men between the age of 15 and 49. Testicular cancer is the most common cancer among men between the ages of 15 to 49. Imagine the number of people within that bracket. Look around you. Anybody between the age of 15 to 49 as a man is likely to have this testicular cancer if it is not caught on time. And nearly 2,000 men are diagnosed every year just in the UK with this testicular cancer. And what does it take? All it takes is for men to pay attention to your body. Know your body, know yourself, so that as soon as there is a slight change, as soon as there's a difference, you can pick it up, you can report it to your GP, you can take it to somebody who can do something about it. And before I continue, I want to also plead that you should go and share this message, because a lot of men need to hear this. This is a message that everybody needs to take on board. So please, for the sake of the men in your life, please go and share this message. Monica, thank you for joining us. Over 2,000 men are diagnosed every year just in the UK with this testicular cancer. But I am convinced that that number is more. It should be more than that. The problem is most men don't go to the hospital. So they can't count you until you show up. So it is important for you as a man to know there's a lump in your testicle. Immediately, you should know this is not right. This should not be here. This is not supposed to be here. Why is this here? That should immediately raise an alarm even within you to question that, and therefore approach a doctor or your GP who can give you a better understanding about it. So if you notice a lump in your testicle, it's an abnormal. First thing you do is to go and see your GP. Thank you, okay? Thank you, Kenny, for joining us. But the truth is this: most lumps in the testicles are not cancerous. But you would not know until you go to check it out. Until you take it to somebody who is knowledgeable, who can tell you yea or nay, this is it, this is not it. You will live in fear of, you don't know whether this is going to be cancer or whether this is already cancer. But if you take it to the GP who would do the initial checkup, and if need be, refer you to somebody else, then your mind will be at rest that, oh no, it's nothing really. Because there are different things that could happen around your testicles that are not cancerous at all. And we're going to look at some of them today. Now, quickly, let's look at some of the symptoms of testicular cancer. Some of the symptoms that would let you know this one is not just passing by. This is a testicular cancer, so that you can do something about it as quickly as possible. The most common symptom of testicular cancer is a painless lump. A lump that is it's almost not painful, but it's there. You can feel it. It's a swelling on the testicle, usually about the size of a pea, like a nut. And if it's not taken care of at that stage, it will start to grow. So as a man, you should check your testicles. If you find a lump, if you find anything abnormal about it, the next thing you should do is go and see your GP. So the first symptom is a painless lump in your testicle or a swelling. The second symptom is there's a dull ache around your scrotum. A dull ache. It's not sharp. It's not constant, but every now and again you can feel it, that there's a dull pain around your scrotum. Now, as soon as you feel that as a man, you should be knocking on your GP's door. Thirdly, the third symptom of a testicular cancer is a feeling of heaviness in your scrotum. Your scrotum is the bag in which the eggs are in. If you start to feel heaviness there, if you have to start to feel some pain there, immediately, that is a sign that something is not going down well there. You need to immediately, quickly, fast, as quickly as possible, go and see your GP. And that is why it is important for you to know your body. Because if you know your body, you will know when there's something strange going on with you. Now, I know as a man, we know what a testicle is and how it should feel. But for the sake of avoidance of doubt, let us quickly look at what does it look like? What does it feel like? Again, that is to help you understand your body, so that if there's something different from what we're describing, immediately you will know this is not supposed to be like this. Most testicles are about the same size. The two are about the same size. However, there are instances it is even very common for one to be bigger than the other, or one to hang lower than the other. Now, if you have that is normal. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing absolutely wrong in one being bigger than the other, or one hanging lower than the other. Secondly, your testicles should feel smooth without any lump or bumps. Your testicles should feel smooth without any lump or bump. Like we said at the beginning, the moment you feel a lump, a swelling, a dull pain, or whatever that is outside of this description, you need to see your doctor immediately. Your testicles should be firm but not hard. It should be firm but not hard. If it's hard, again, that is a sign that something is not right. When you check your testicle, you could feel a tube at the back of the testicle. That is not an issue. It is natural for you to have like a soft tube at the back of your testicle. There's nothing wrong with that. So quickly, I'm saying your testicles usually are about the same size. However, it is common for one to be slightly bigger than the other, or for one to hang lower than the other. Number 2, your testicles should be smooth without lumps or bumps. Number 3, it should be firm but not hard. And number 4, it is natural for you to have a soft tube at the back of your testicle. It's not abnormal. However, if you notice anything different from what we have just described, please, 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 please go and see your GP. Jenny Jiboye, thank you for joining us. And please, again, if you have not shared this program tonight, it is important that you should go and share it. Taufik, thank you for joining us. It's important that you share it. Tell the men in your life about this. Tell them to watch the program on your timeline or send it to them. but you can only do that if you have shared it so that you can have a footprint of it on your timeline. Thank you, Sanjo, for joining us. Now, let's quickly look at how to diagnose testicular cancer. There are different ways of diagnosing testicular cancer. The first one is physical examination. Like I've just enumerated about what it looks like, what it feels like, how it should be. Now, physical examination is when you go to your GP to say, I don't think this is right. Something feels out of place here. Your GP will do a physical examination of your testicle. It is normal. The first thing he will say is, what are some of the symptoms that you have seen, that you have experienced, that you have noticed that in the first place brought you to his office. So you'll be able to explain to him to say, look, there's a dull pain I'm feeling, or there is a swelling, there is a lump. Now, once you tell him that, he's going to then do a physical examination on your testicle. After he's done that, he will then use there's an instrument like a torchlight that he will shine the light against your testicle. The reason for that is because your testicles are supposed to be solid. Light can't travel through them. However, if he shines the light on your testicle and the light goes through, that immediately tells your GP something is not adding up here. Now, it could just be a fluid that is gathered, that is collected somewhere around your scrotum, but whatever it is better to know than to live in ignorance. It is better to know than to live in ignorance. If your GP, after doing this physical examination, listening to your symptoms, checking it with his light and to see what is going on, if your GP think what he has seen is cancerous, the first thing he will do is he will refer you for another test, and usually you get that done within 2 weeks. Tunde Akinwumi, thank you for joining us. Tokes Kukoyi, you're very welcome. Immediately you will be referred for further tests, and usually you get an appointment within 2 weeks. So that's the first way of diagnosing testicular cancer, physical examination. The second one is you will be subjected to a blood test. You'll be subjected to a blood test. The Bible says the life of everything is in the blood. You will be subjected to a blood test. Now, the reason they do this blood test is to confirm the findings during the physical examination. Also, when they do your blood test, there's something that there is something that testicular cancer will release into your blood called markers. And the blood test is the only avenue by which your doctor can determine the marker. Now, this marker will be tested to detect how active the cancer is, if it's cancerous. The blood test is to check for markers. Then the markers will then tell the doctor how active the cancer is. How active the cancer is. However, having said that, for some people, even when they do the blood test, there will be no marker still found in their blood. Meanwhile, the issue is bigger than just a flu. It's actually cancerous. And that is why the doctor will then move on to the next type of diagnosis that they can do. It's called histology. Now, what is histology? It's an examination of the lump under a microscope. Histology is the examination of the lump that they have seen in your testicle under a microscope. Now, how do they do that? This is where it becomes a surgery matter. Normally, when somebody has cancer and they want to check how active the cancer is, whether it's in the early stage or in the middle stage or in the latter stage, normally the doctors will take a sample of the cancerous cell, check it under the microscope to determine where it is. But with testicular cancer, once they've done the initial physical observation, they've done the blood check, the next thing is surgery. So in order for doctor to do this histology, they will have to remove that testicle that is affected. The reason they do that is because the combination of the blood test and the physical test ideally should have revealed what stage the cancer is, if it's cancerous. But if, as at that time, they still cannot determine what it is better to be safe than to be late. So what they would do is to remove that testicle. Because ordinary biopsy, like they would do for other cancers, will not reveal what is going on. Now, a lot of people get scared at this stage. Oh, they don't want the doctor to remove one of their testicles. The issue there is, if it's not removed, the cancer will spread into the scrotum. The scrotum will become infected, and it will spread to other parts of the body. So it's a no-brainer, if you ask me. It's a no-brainer what needs to be done. Thank you, Adelaja. Thank you, Kate, for joining us. Now, there are other tests that can be done to determine whether the lump or the swelling in your testicle is cancerous or not. When the cancer of the testicle spreads, usually it will affect the lymph nodes, which is at the back of the abdomen or the lungs. So that is why somebody who is suspected to have testicle cancer, for instance, will be required to do an X-ray. The X-ray is to check your lungs, to check your internal organ to see if they have been affected or not. Also, you could be subjected to do a CT scan, which will scan your entire body to see if the cancer is spreading. And in some instances, in very special instances, you'll be subjected to an MRI scan. This is for them to see exactly the spread, the areas that have been affected by this cancer. But you see, the funny thing is this. It's not even funny. The truth of the matter is this. All this could have been avoided if only men would just go and see their doctor as early as they notice a change, a difference, something out of ordinary about their bodies. Gentlemen, this is so important. I can't stress it enough. Because this body is the only one we have. We can't borrow somebody else. We can't rent another person's. We don't have a spare one at home that we're going to use should this one break down. Therefore, let us treat it with all the diligence and all the responsibilities that it requires. Do it for yourself. If not for yourself, do it for your family. I don't want to bore you with a lot of medical story here, but there's a list here of what causes lumps and swelling in testicles. What causes lumps and swelling in testicles? A swelling where the vein, there's something called varicocele, varicocele. Varicocele is a swelling where the veins in the testicles have enlarged. When the veins around the testicles have enlarged, it will look like a bag of worms. Now, that immediately is a sign. Thanks, Ugo, for joining us. Then there is hydrocele or hydrocele, which is a swelling caused by fluid around the testicle. Again, if any of this is happening, if you notice anything different, please get over your pride, get over your ego, get over your shyness or whatever it is you want to call it. Get over it. It is better for you to be naked in front of your doctor for one day than for you to die a premature death. I think the two are not just even comparable at all. There is another cause of testicular cancer, which is as a result of sexually transmitted disease called chlamydia. Chlamydia. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrongly. You medical people, please forgive me. But this one is a sexually transmitted disease, which is a parasitic bacteria. It's a parasitic bacteria, but it will only multiply when it comes in contact with another bacteria from another cell. And that is why it is transmitted sexually. And yet, it's also a cause of testicular cancer. Having said all of this, early diagnosis, for instance, a guy called Neil Harris, who is a footballer, noticed something not quite right with his testicles. Immediately went to the doctor. They immediately arrested it. They treated him, and in no time, he went back and is still playing football. That's to tell you that having a testicular cancer is not the end of your life if it is treated, if it is caught early. And that is why, as a man, you need to know your body, you need to check yourself, you need to test yourself, so that if there's something not quite the right way, you can report it to the authority who can deal with it for you as quickly as possible. Lekon, thank you for joining us. How is testicular cancer treated? Testicular cancer is treated either by chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or surgery. It's either by chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or surgery. But irrespective of the type of treatment you will receive will be determined by the type of testicular cancer that it is and what stage of growth or development that cancer is. I can't stress enough how important this is. So the first symptom that a man must never ignore in his body is a swelling or a lump in his testicles. That's the first symptom. As soon as you notice a lump, a swelling, anything abnormal around your testicle, please, as a man, see your doctor immediately. Laolu, thank you for joining us. The second symptom that a man must not ignore when you see it on yourself is moles. Moles. What are moles? Moles are this extra tiny bit of flesh that suddenly start to grow on your body, on your skin. I have one around my neck here. Suddenly I just felt something is there. Now, moles are not cancerous. Usually, you don't know when they come, you don't know where they go. Usually, they're not harmful. However, if you have a mole on your body, it is still your responsibility to keep an eye on it as a man. The reason is, some of them, because most generally are caused by the chemical in our body that determines the color of our skin, the melanin or melanin. it is possible for it to grow out of hand if it's exposed to a condition that made that chemical to produce more than it should be. Prince Will, thank you for joining us. So, even though mold on its own are not harmful, they are just something else that just grow on your skin, it is still required of you to keep an eye on it, because if they are not treated, when they start to manifest into other things, it is an easy way for somebody to contact or to have skin cancer. Moles are small colored spots on the skin that is made up of cells called melanocytes, which produces the color or the pigment of your skin. That's what moles are. They can be flat, or some of them are slightly raised. They are smooth or rough, and some have hair growing on it. Now, don't jump into conclusion just because you see hair growing on it. Some of that is still normal. However, when they start to itch, and they start to flake, and they start to change color, or they start to bleed, now you need to quickly see a doctor, because now the mole has graduated into something else. And if it is not treated, like I said, if it's not captured on time, it is an avenue for skin cancer. Usually moles, you will notice them as you grow older, from around age 40. Now, some people that are younger than that will still notice it, but usually you find it with older people. So what are some of the things to look for as far as moles are concerned? Moles with uneven coloring. Like I said, once the color starts to change, immediately you need to pay attention to it. Moles generally have even round edges, but once the edges become jiggered and flaky and all of that, immediately that is a sign for you to do something about it. Once they start to itch, and when you scratch them, they start to bleed or they turn red, they are inflamed, then you need to see your doctor. Or when suddenly that tiny pencil head size mole is now going to be as big as your thumb, then you know something is not going right here. Again, immediately, you need to see your doctor. So if you notice any change as far as moles on your skin, as far as they're concerned, you should see your doctor. You should talk to your GP, because, like I said, it's a doorway to skin cancer if it's not caught on time, if it's not treated. How can you prevent cancerous moles? Please, if you have not shared this program, I know this is like I'm just rushing through it because I'm conscious that we didn't start on time. But please, if you have not shared this program, please go ahead and share it. Be a blessing to somebody. You never know whose life you will save just by sharing this program. Somebody will listen to it. Somebody will come across it on your timeline, on the timeline of your friend who you shared it with, and that could just be the information that will save that person's life. So please, let's go ahead and share it. Thank you, sir, Engineer Disu, for joining us. How to prevent moles. Please, if you notice moles on yourself, stay away from the sun, especially between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. That's when the UV rays of the sun is at its highest effect. Stay away from the sun. And if you have to be in the sun, make sure you are well covered. Make sure your skin is well protected. Make sure you have enough skin sun lotion on yourself. Wear a hat, wear sunglasses. Whatever you can do to protect or reduce the effect of the sunlight on your skin is one of the ways by which you can prevent the mole from becoming anything more dangerous than they should be. You are supposed to check the moles regularly. Be aware of changing of colors, like I said. So to minimize the risk of skin cancer, as a man and a woman as well, you need to keep an eye on this extra flesh that are growing on your skin. They are called moles. They are ordinarily not harmful, but the moment they start to graduate into other things like we have mentioned, then you need to quickly see your GP. So the second symptom that a man must not ignore on his body are moles. Moles. Please, gentlemen, if you see anything growing, like, just keep an eye on them. Keep an eye on them. And the moment they start going out of the norm, then immediately, please see your GP or your medical doctor for treatment, depending on where you are. I'd like to hear from you if this is helping you, if there is anything in all of this that is adding value. Please let me hear from you. Let me know that you are still out there and this has been a blessing to you. I'd like to hear your views, your comments, your contribution, whatever it is. It will be good to hear from you as a way of feedback as we go along on this program. So please feel free to say something, and God bless you as you do that. The third symptom that a man must not ignore in his body is the feeling of depression. The feeling of depression. Now, men, we like to tell ourselves that all is well. Nothing is wrong. When the whole thing is actually shaking under our feet. A good example of that is the issue of depression. A lot of men will say, oh no, men don't get depressed, it's only women. But that's not true. The reason people think it's only women that get depressed is because women, when they are feeling depressed, they immediately are talking about it. They immediately are sharing it. They're talking to their friends. They're seeing their doctors. Their friends are around them to help them. But because as men, we try to keep it under our jacket and put the tie around its neck and try to squeeze life out of it, we pretend as if we're not going through or we're not experiencing it. But do you know that statistically, while it seems that more women go through depression, the flip side to that is more men, most men that are suffering from depression commit suicide. Because they don't talk about it. When they talk about it, people think, what's wrong with you? Pull yourself together. Get over it. But depression is a real illness. It is a real illness with real effect, and it affects your work, your social life, your family life, your ability to be yourself. When somebody is going through depression, they are neither here nor there. So please, if you notice somebody, or even if it's you that you feel down on the inside, don't keep it to yourself. Talk to somebody about it, because if it's not caught, again like the cancer, if it's not caught early, it could end up in death. And that is why most men will commit suicide, because of depression. Studies have shown that about 4% of children, imagine that, here in the UK, about 4% of children between the age of 5 and 16 are actually going through depression. Children. Now, somebody might say, well, what are they worried about? But you're not in You're not in their shoes. You don't know what they are dealing with. You don't know what they are carrying. You don't know what they are seeing. You don't know what they are going through that is putting them in that position. So depression is real. It's a real illness, and it has real effect on people. When somebody is feeling depressed, or when somebody is depressed, they lose interest in things that they used to enjoy. And this is where, gentlemen, we need to help ourselves. Be your brother's keeper. The moment you see a brother who used to enjoy and just love doing something, and suddenly the interest just completely gone out of the window. Now, I'm not saying go and knock on his door and say, you are depressed. No, it's a tell sign for you to keep an eye on that brother, to support him, help him, encourage him, be there for him, speak to him, pray for him, because that man could be going through depression. What are some of the symptoms of depression? What are some of the symptoms of depression? Depression affects people in different ways. Some can manage it, others can't. But here are some of the symptoms that we need to look out for in somebody that is probably going through depression. Number one is a lasting feeling of unhappiness or hopelessness. A lasting feeling of unhappiness or hopelessness. Naturally, every now and again you feel down, you feel, oh, come on, things need to pick up and whatever. That's natural. But when it is prolonged, when it's going over weeks and months in the same, and everything is still going further down and down, that is not a one-off. That is a depression. So the feeling of unhappiness and hopelessness is one of the symptoms of depression. Number two, like I said, losing interest in the things that you used to enjoy. Say, for instance, you and your friend used to go and play football, and now when you talk of football, he just didn't want to hear the word foot, not to talk of the ball behind it. Immediately, you need to start paying attention to such a person. Also, another symptom of depression is when somebody is feeling very tearful. Every little thing, the person breaks down and cries. Every little thing, the person is in tears. That could be a sign of depression. Anxiety is another form or another symptom of depression. Feeling constantly tired, permanently, all the time tired. Don't want to get out of bed, don't want to do this, can't be bothered with that. Oh, the room is so untidy, the environment is... Immediately you need to understand that this person could be going through depression. Loss of appetite is another symptom of depression. Loss of sex drive is another symptom of depression. Persistent low in spirit is another sign or another symptom of depression. In extreme cases, suicidal thoughts or actions are symptoms of depression. What causes depression? Gentlemen, the reason we're going through this, remember this program is for us to become better as men. And these are some of the areas that we don't get to talk about, we don't hear about, we don't even want to hear about. So this platform is helping us, is here to help all of us to go over that barrier of, I'm a man, I'm not supposed to show signs of weakness. I'm not saying become lily and be laid back until you're almost horizontal. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, as men, let's face realities of our lives. Let's take our lives in our hands and do something with it, and not let this camouflage of ego and manliness continue to kill men in silence. What are some of the causes of depression? Number one cause of depression, or one of the causes of depression, is stressful event. Stressful event. If somebody has just gone through bereavement, it can push the person towards bereavement. Somebody's wife, child, parent, or whatever. Any form of bereavement. The truth of bereavement is this. Two people are affected by the same bereavement, and the two of them will respond differently. Thank you, Monica, for joining us. The two of them will respond differently to the same bereavement. Now, one of the mistakes that people will make is, what's your issue? Get over it. Look at your friend. I mean, he's already doing fine. It is not about what his friend or her friend is doing. It's about how that person, in himself or herself, is processing the bereavement that will determine how they come out of it. Also, relationship breakdown is another cause of depression. Relationship breakdown is another cause of depression, because here is a relationship that you've invested your emotion, your time, your effort, your resources, and everything into, and then one day, boom, it's gone. It's another cause of depression. Another cause of depression is personality. The personality of a person can cause the person to be depressed. For instance, somebody who has low self-esteem, if that low self-esteem is further damaged, then the person can easily slide into depression. Also, people who are overly self-critical, who criticizes themselves, who are Mr. and Mrs. Perfect, everything. I'm not saying be wishy-washy and be indisciplined, but there are certain people that nothing is ever good enough for them. Even by themselves, by their own standard, nothing is good for them by their own standard. People like that, because they are always striving for perfection, they're always looking for everything to be prim and proper. Every little thing that is out of place can lead them down the road of depression. Another cause of depression is family history. If depression is something that is rampant in a family, it is easily passed on, because eventually people become what they see and what they sit under. So if you have 2-3 people in a family that are struggling with depression, it is easy for those people, for anybody around those people also to go down the route of depression. Please, if you have not shared this program, please go and share it. Kunle Ajala, thank you for joining us. The next point on the causes of depression is particularly with women. In some instances, after pregnancy and after giving birth, some women will go into what they call postnatal depression. Now, the cause of that could be the hormonal and physical changes that their body is going through. And added to that will be the sense of responsibility towards this new child, towards this baby. And some people will feel, I can't even look after myself. Now I have somebody who can't talk, who can't say anything to look after. And that feeling of responsibility can become overwhelming, that such people can easily go into depression, to what they call postnatal depression. Sometimes loneliness can cause depression. Loneliness can cause depression. Alcohol and drugs are also causes of depression. Unfortunately, a lot of people think, they will just drown their sorrow in alcohol, in drugs. But the truth is, both alcohol and these drugs, they are depressants on their own. So by taking them, it makes even the case worse than if the person had not taken any of them. So alcohol and drugs are some also causes of depression. Illness. Illness is another cause of depression. If somebody has been going through for a prolonged period dealing with a life-threatening illness like cancer or heart disease, it's easy for the person to feel, what's the point of life? And the moment they hit that button, depression sets in. So illness is another cause of depression. And lastly, another cause of depression is loss of job, especially among men. When a man loses his job, it's like his life is collapsing all around him. Because to a man, the job is not just a means of making income. To a man, his job is part of the essence of him being a man. It's part of his manhood sense or how he sees himself as a man. So when a man loses his job, that if it's not well managed, if it's not pulled together, it could lead the man down the path of depression. And that is why in some cases you see a man has just been made redundant at work or fired or let go, whatever, and he's too scared to even come home and tell his family. So every morning he still dresses up as if he's going to work. And some men, this is a fact, some men have done that for 3, 4, 6 months, leaving the house every morning, coming back in the evening as if they've been to the office, as if they've been to work, when all they've done is just sit down in a cafe somewhere till the evening and come home. So loss of job, especially with men, is another element that can cause depression. Depression is usually treated by a combination of self-help, therapies, and drugs. Thank you, Pastor Bimbo, for joining us. I appreciate you, sir. My regards to the family. So the third symptom that a man must not ignore in his life is the feeling of sadness, which is the beginning of depression. It's the beginning of depression. Sister Bisi, thank you for joining us. Quickly, number 4. The fourth symptom that a man must not ignore in his life is when a man starts having trouble urinating, please don't ignore it. When a man starts having problem or trouble urinating, then please, men, please, I'm begging you, please, don't ignore it. See your doctor. And the first one we talked about was testicular cancer. With this one, if a man starts having problem with urinating, it could be a sign of prostate cancer. Yes. Prostate cancer is the most common cancer in men, especially here in the UK. More than 30,000 men are diagnosed every year with prostate cancer. 30,000 of men just in the UK every year are diagnosed with prostate cancer. The truth is this: every man has prostate. Only men has prostate. Every man has prostate, and it is crucial for your sex life. So, as a man, you have prostate. However, when the prostate is enlarged, it will start to press on the tube that carries urine from your bladder. When that happens, because the tube is now squeezed, it will become hard for you to pass urine. And the harder it gets, the more your prostate the more effort you're putting on your prostate. And the more effort you put on it, the more susceptible it is to develop into prostate cancer. When your prostate is when the tube from your the urine tube, when it is squeezed because of an enlarged prostate, you start feeling pain or burning when you pass urine. When that happens, when you experience that, when that happens, gentlemen, don't sit on it. Quickly go and talk to your doctor that your waterworks need help. Something is not working here. Thirdly, if you wake up frequently throughout the night, 3, 4, 5, 6 times throughout the night, to go to the loo to go and wee as a man, then something is not adding up. You need to quickly go and see your doctor. All these are signs that as a man you should not ignore in your body. As a man, you should ask yourself, why is this so? When you have problem passing urine, when you feel a pain or a burning sensation every time you try to wee, or you can't even sleep for an hour without having to go and have a wee. Every hour you're going to go and have a wee. Then immediately you need to go and see your GP. You need to go and see your GP. The prostate is a small gland in the pelvis found in men. It's located between the penis and the bladder and is surrounded by urethra. The main function of the prostate is to help in the production of semen. So you can see it has a major purpose as far as your manhood is concerned. But when it is enlarged and it's pressing on the tube that carries urine from your bladder to for you to wee, then something is not working. You need to do something about it. Now, medically, they're still trying to confirm, to have a conclusion on what causes the prostate to become enlarged. What causes it? What causes prostate cancer is largely unknown medically. Prostate cancer is also very common among men from 50 years and above. When a man hits 50, you are more susceptible to have prostate cancer. There are certain things that can increase even the chances of you as a man having prostate cancer. Before I go into that, please, I want to plead with you to go and share this message again. Share this program. Be a blessing to somebody. Help somebody. It might just be the only way the person will hear and know what is going on with their body and do something about it. So please, share this message. There are certain things that increases the risk of developing this condition. Number one is age, like I said, from 50 years and above. And if you remember last week when we were looking at how regularly should you see your doctor, we said once you hit that 50 mark, immediately you have to see your doctor every year. You have to see your doctor every year. Make a routine. Put it in your diary. Put it in your calendar. Whatever it is that will remind you. Tell your wife to remind you, if you can't remember, that on this particular day or week or whatever, I must see my doctor every year. So once you hit 50 and above, you need to start going to see your doctor. And last week, we talked about going to make an appointment to see your doctor. We encourage all the men to make an appointment to book an appointment to see your doctor. Now, I have done mine. This is my appointment card. I'm seeing my doctor on Wednesday, the 19th at 8:20 a.m. So please, if you have not done yours, I am begging you, just go and see him. Please, go and see your doctor. Another thing with prostate cancer, which medically they're still at loss about why it is because they have found that prostate cancer is very common among Afro-Caribbean and African descent from among the Afro-Caribbeans and Africans. But it's not common among the Asians. And medically, they're still trying to find out why. So again, that tells you and I, if you are of that descent, an Afro-Caribbean or of African descent, then you need to pay special attention to your body as far as prostate cancer is concerned. Also, if you have somebody in the family that has had or that have prostate cancer, you are more susceptible to have it as well. But now, this is the one I found very interesting when I was preparing for this program today. Research also shows that having a close female relative who developed breast cancer may also increase your risk of developing prostate cancer. That just though I don't know. It just, I can't understand it. If you have a close female relative who has developed breast cancer, as a man, your risk of developing prostate cancer increases. So check your family, check within your immediate family, your immediate relatives to see, because it could be something that will prompt you to pay attention. If nothing else, will get you to do that. Obesity is another thing that will make you more likely to have prostate cancer. So watch your weight. When you exercise regularly, your chances of developing prostate cancer reduces. Same thing with your diet. Same thing with your diet. Especially, my brothers, it's not every night that you have to eat pounded yam, because it just sits in your tummy. So please, watch your diet as well. How is prostate cancer treated? Again, there is a lot of discussion going on in the medical field about the treatment. Like every cancer, they will tell you if you catch it early, then the chances of survival is very high. The same thing with prostate cancer. However, there is another school of thought within the medical field that feels you don't have to rush into it. If the cancer is at an early stage and it's not causing any symptoms, there's a policy of watchful waiting or active surveillance that will be adopted to say, okay, let's just wait and see. Let's see how it's going to pan out. Let's see what will happen with it. But then there's a school of thought that says, catch it early, deal with it so that it won't spread. The treatment for prostate cancer usually is surgical. Surgical treatment to remove the prostate, or radiotherapy, or hormone therapy. Now, medically, they have also discovered that most men will not want to go through the surgical treatment. They don't even want to treat it because of the side effect of treating it. All treatment options carry the risk of side effects, including erectile dysfunction and urinary incontinence. And because of that, some men would say, no, I don't want to treat it now, because it could give a side effect of erectile dysfunction or urinary incontinence. But the question is it worth your life? Is it worth you dying prematurely and leaving your family in sorrow and grief? I think as men, we need to be serious. We need to be responsible. We need to take these things seriously. We need to look beyond ourselves and look around us and see who else will be affected by not doing what we're supposed to do? So the fourth symptom that a man must not ignore is a swollen prostate, which, as we have highlighted, could lead to prostate cancer. Lamont Smith, thank you for joining us. How is Bermuda? The last symptom that a man must not ignore is impotence or erectile dysfunction, popularly called ED. Impotence or erectile dysfunction, also known as ED. What is impotence? It's the inability to get or maintain an erection. Erectile dysfunction is common, particularly in older men. It is estimated that half of men between the age of 40 and 70 will have some degree of erectile dysfunction or impotence. If you have any issue in that area, again, like all the others that we've talked about, see your GP, see your doctor, see your GP. The reason is not just because of your erectile dysfunctioning. Erectile dysfunction or ED or impotence could actually be a symptom of something bigger, something like heart disease, diabetes, or high blood pressure. So just because you're having erectile dysfunction doesn't mean that's where it ends. It could just be a window that is showing you there is more going on in your system than you can see. It could be a symptom for heart disease, for diabetes, or high blood pressure. What are the causes of erectile dysfunction? There are two types. There is the physical cause, and then there is the psychological cause for erectile dysfunction. Quickly, the physical cause of erectile dysfunction is high blood pressure. The narrowing of the blood vessel going to the penis is commonly the cause of erectile dysfunction. If the blood vessel that goes to the penis is narrowed or is thin or is choked or blocked to some degree, it will cause erectile dysfunction. And this is usually associated with high blood pressure or hypertension, high cholesterol, or diabetes. So, like I said, it's not just erectile dysfunction that just is the issue. It could be a symptom of something bigger going on. Hey, Denise Bryce, thank you for joining us. Ask my friend. Another physical cause of erectile dysfunction is hormonal problems. When the hormone in the system, in the body is changing, it could cause erectile dysfunction. Injury is another thing, or surgical mistake is another thing that could cause erectile dysfunction. Psychologically, some of the causes of erectile dysfunction psychologically is anxiety. When you are worried about something, when something is heavy on your heart, when something is weighing you down as a man, it will affect your ability to have and maintain erection. Depression, like we said earlier on, is another psychological cause of erectile dysfunction. Relationship problems is another cause of erectile dysfunction. So these are some of the things that could lead you to have erectile dysfunction. But irrespective of what the cause is, the important thing is once you notice it, see your doctor, see your GP. Let them help you. Let them help you. How is it treated? How is erectile dysfunction treated? The best way to treat it is to identify what the cause is. Once the cause is identified, then you deal with the root cause, and that will, in most cases, solve the problem. So the important thing is report it to your GP. Let them see what's going on. Let them determine whether it's just a one-off or whether it's a symptom of something as bigger, something as greater, something as more grievous, more dangerous rather than just the issue of erectile dysfunction. So talk to your GP so that they can help you. Sometimes they will give you medication if the issue is the fact that the vein, the blood vein to your penis is thin or is blocked or is choked. They will treat that with drugs so that the pathway can clear up and you'll be fine. Also, medications such as sildenafil, popularly known as Viagra, is another help or another medication that can be prescribed for erectile dysfunction. But psychological treatments include cognitive behavior therapy and sex therapy. So these are some of the ways by which erectile dysfunction can be treated. Also, general change of lifestyle like lose weight, eat well, exercise, as other avenue by which erectile dysfunction can be treated. So the fifth symptom that a man must not ignore in his life is erectile dysfunction or impotence. Erectile dysfunction or impotence. So quickly, as a summary, we've talked about testicular cancer, we've talked about moles, we've talked about depression, we've talked about prostate cancer, and now we've talked about erectile dysfunction. Any symptom, anything that is out of ordinary in your body as a man, the best thing, the right thing, the immediate thing to do is to see your doctor, talk to your GP so that they can help you, which, like I said, is a follow-up from what we did last week about the importance of you not running away from your GP. They're there to help you. They're not just there to cure people who are not well. They are also there to prevent those who are well from becoming unwell. And you could be one of them. But the earlier you visit and you talk to your GP, the better for you and your family and the society at large. Paul John, thank you for joining us. Well, I know it has been a marathon today because we were unable to start on time because of the internet issue that we have, and I'm so sorry about that. But I hope tonight has given you something to think about. It has given you something to take away so that you too can ask yourself, is it worth dying when the solution could just be a simple treatment, a simple visit to the doctor? It's not worth dying for. Your family needs you alive. The society needs you alive. You have a purpose to fulfill here on earth. God sent you to this planet to meet a need, to fulfill a purpose. There's an assignment that God branded you with, and only you can deliver that assignment here on earth. Don't leave this earth at a shortage because of a premature death that can be prevented if only you will take on the prescription, the opportunity that you have to see a doctor who can help you. So quickly, what's the task for this week? The task for this week is simple. I have registered to see my GP. If you have not, please, I am begging you as a man to man, please do it. Do it. Do it for us. Do it for your family. Do it for your children. Do it for your wife. They are worth it. They are worth more than it. More than that 10, 15, 30 minutes, even if it's an hour that you are going to spend in the GP's office. Your family is worth more than that. Do it for them. So that together we can say we are becoming better men. We're tired of our men dying prematurely. We're tired of our men falling before their time and leaving their wives and children for others to take care of or to not take care of in most cases, when you can do it yourself. Please, gentlemen, let's take this serious. Let's accept this responsibility as we will do with any other one. And once you have booked the appointment with your GP, please make sure you attend. Make sure you go to see them. Your bank manager won't say, oh, that money you are waiting for is here. Come and take it at 2 o'clock. And you say, I can't come because of. No, you will be there. This is even more serious than your bank manager calling you. So why would you not honor the bookings, the appointment that you've made with your doctor? So gentlemen, please, I beg you, ensure you make that appointment this week. Between today and tomorrow, by Saturday, have a slip of paper in your hand that says you have booked the appointment, and make every effort to ensure that you attend and see your doctor so that they can help you with some of these things. There are men out there that are already dealing with some of the symptoms we've talked about tonight. What are you waiting for? Please go and see your doctor. DK Chukwumerije, thank you for joining us. Kehinde Amako, thank you for joining us. It's an honor to have you guys. Thank you. Quickly, our Become a Better Man seminar is still coming up on the 13th of May. The venue is the Praise Embassy Community Center in Erith. The time is 11 and we'll be finishing around 2 o'clock. Please, please, please make space for this event in your diary. Make space for this event in your diary. Tell your friends, invite your colleagues, your neighbor, invite people to be part of it. And on that day, like we said, we're going to have the opportunity to see eye to eye, hold hands, pray together, challenge each other, stretch each other, encourage one another to become better at who we are and what we are. I can't wait. I'm so much looking forward to that day. It's amazing. It's going to be wonderful. I can assure you there will be men in the house that can handle, that can answer whatever question that you may have. And again, don't forget, sending your questions. Start sending them in even before that day. And it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be a great event. And I'm so looking forward to it. So please, keep it in mind. Remember it in your prayers. And together, we will make that day a day to be remembered. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, gentlemen, for being part of this program today. Once again, I apologize for starting late. We had issues with the internet, but thank God it's been resolved. So I'm sorry for starting late. And until next week, when we'll be meeting again, this is Tunde Disu saying, we're not stopping. We are not stopping until we arrive at that destination called better men and women. Until next week, thank you for your time. Thank you. Bye-bye.